Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Middle Easy Fight Fist podcast. Recorded live from the very gracious dudes here at Gas Digital
Thank
Studios.
you so much, Gas Digital
Thank
Studios.
you, Lewis and everybody.
Ralph and everybody.
The whole crew.
Yeah,
it's real nice.
There's air conditioning in here, and it's not a moving vehicle. Isn't that nice?
It's great.
Isn't that a good time for us?
Yeah, no, these are a little bit better than the seats in Dan's car.
Dan is on tour.
Yeah, Dan is
doing stand-up comedy.
In the deep south right now.
He's in the south.
Yeah.
So if you are a fan, go check him out. I don't know exactly what city he's in, but, social media, that's for.
And he'll be on tour for the next, 2-3 weeks. So if you're hearing the podcast in the next, this week, you should still be able to see him if you live in the South.
Absolutely. So look out for that. Hi, how are you?
Good, man. What's going on?
It's been too long.
It's been super long.
I didn't realize how long it's been until I saw you. I'm like, oh, yeah, I haven't seen you in a while.
Well, yeah, we were talking about that. I haven't seen you in person or talked to you since you trained Lewis for his fight.
Yeah, since the fight in Vegas, it was so much fun.
Yeah, if you guys haven't been keeping up with the podcast, Diego trained Luis J. Gomez, president of Gas Digital.
President and CEO.
CEO of Gas Digital.
Co-president. Sorry, Ralph.
Yeah.
Ralph is great.
But yeah, you trained him for his fight against Ryan O'Neal, who's of the podcast Danish and O'Neal out in LA.
Comic in LA. And we trained for about 2.5 months. And then a couple weeks ago, we flew out to LA and hung out at the Comedy Store, talked to Joe Rogan about MMA for a split second. That was sick.
Did he know you or what happened?
But he knew Lewis.
Yeah.
And I was with Lewis. And then Lewis basically introduced me as his MMA coach, who's also a comedian. He's like, Joe was very nice about that. And we talked about rolling with white belts, and that's the only people that hurt me. And he's like, oh yeah, I don't do it anymore. I don't like. He's like, he hasn't rolled in a while, but he's like, yeah, I don't roll with white belts. It's like the easiest way to get injured because they just are so spazzy. So that was cool. Hung out for Kill Tony. Didn't get up, unfortunately. Hung out with my friend Allie. We got food. Met Bisbing. Did their podcast there. It was so cool. A lot of very nice YouTube comments about me, which is very rare.
Yeah.
In the YouTube comment world. And then drove to Vegas with Bisbing and his family and his wife, and had the fight, and it was like nuts. He did such a good job. He listened so well. It was really, really like a proud moment for me.
What was the result of the fight?
Unanimous decision.
That's great. How many rounds did they do?
3.
3 rounds?
Yeah, 3 3-minute rounds.
3 3-minute rounds, 2 on unanimous?
Yeah, first round caught a kick and got a takedown and got some ground and pound in.
Nice.
I thought they were going to call it then because he was really landing some hard punches. Second round, a little gassed, both of them.
Yeah.
Feeling the nerves come down, the adrenaline drops down a little bit. Didn't take the round off, but wasn't nothing big happened that round, just a lot of peppering and closing distance.
Yeah.
And then the third round, Bisbing did a great job in the corner just to be like, no, overhand right. It's right. It's open. Just throw it.
That's great.
And Lewis double jab, overhand right, and just landed a bunch. And it was so fun. It was so fun being in the corner and getting to instruct and guide. And I mean, the whole night was crazy because it's Lewis's fight was the only genuine fight. Everything else was kind of like a gimmicky fight because they weren't fighters. They're fans of Jason Ellis. And they're signed up to do a musical chairs.
What was the whole event called?
Ellis Mania.
Ellis Mania.
Yeah. I'm just texting our guest who's a little bit lost. I'm sorry, continue.
Were there a lot of Legion of Skanks fans there?
Yeah, a lot of people kept stopping Lewis, and one guy asked him to sign his fedora, which I thought was hilarious. It was really good.
What did Ryan O'Neal seem like he trained the same way that you and Lewis trained, or did he seem like he came in a little more lackadaisical about it?
He he went to the wrong upper. Oh Jesus, he's lost. I gave him the address. Sorry, ask the question again.
I said, did Ryan O'Neal? Did it seem like he trained the way that you trained Lewis and Lewis trained?
No, not at all. I really don't know what he was doing.
Yeah, because I saw a picture of Lewis and he looked pretty in shape. He looked like he had been training for a fight, and then I saw a picture of Ryan O'Neal and he looked like me.
Yeah,
he does not look like someone who's in training for a fight.
I don't know what he was training in terms of he apparently did he came into the room afterwards, and was like, yeah, I didn't really do any jiu-jitsu training. I basically just hit mitts and did a little bit of wrestling. And it's like, wow, you did not take this as seriously as you kind of made it seem like you're going to take it.
Why he hyped it up a lot? That he was
they were talking a lot of shit. They were talking shit Lewis wasn't going to make weight and he wasn't going to be able to survive the first round cardio-wise. And he was going to get picked apart by Ryan's kicks. And look, Ryan...
does he have a history in fighting?
He has a black belt in Taekwondo.
Really?
And he's been training for a while, but I don't know what that entails really. Like, I don't know how often he's training and at what intensity.
If you're a black belt in Taekwondo, does that mean you're for sure a great striker? Or
no, because I don't know. Because Taekwondo by itself can be kind of unrealistic.
Yeah.
But he was definitely had more of a Muay Thai base.
Yeah.
More of a Muay Thai base and like had a simple strikes. So like I don't know. I don't know what he's expecting. It was very obvious what we wanted: a takedown and ground and pound and submission.
Yeah.
But Lewis did a great job on the hand. So like he didn't want to gas himself out, doing too much wrestling. But
what weight did they fight at?
205.
Wow.
Yeah, and Lewis was I think like 230 something when they agreed to it. So like he had to lose weight and get good at fighting. Basically.
How tall is he?
Ryan O'Neal or Lewis?
But either of them.
Both of them are. Lewis is I think my height about 6 foot, and Ryan O'Neal's I think like 6'2".
205 is heavy.
Yeah, it's not light. That's a
No,
lot of
man.
person. It was fun to spar.
Bisping fights at 185.
Yeah, and he is not that now.
No.
I rolled with Bisping at his gym in Costa Mesa, his UFC gym, which is hilarious because we were driving there and he's like, all right, I haven't been to my gym in a long time. Like he hasn't stepped foot in his own UFC gym in a little while.
Yeah.
And like when we got in, everyone's like, oh my God, hey, and like wanting to take pictures.
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
dude, this is your gym. Like you should be here a lot more. But
That's hilarious.
You're very busy.
What was it like rolling with him?
It was fun. He's exactly what I expected. Very MMA, very conservative, very heavy,
Yeah.
very strong, but like nothing
Too crazy.
nothing too crazy. Because again, it's MMA jiu-jitsu is very different from jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
And like I've been smashed a million times by UFC fighters, so it's like I know what to expect. And it's like he's very good. He's very big and strong and good. But it's just a surreal moment to be like, oh yeah, it's Michael Bisping sweating in my face.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah, it's very fun.
You have a good list of people you've rolled with now.
So far, yeah, it's been cool. I mean, it's not like I'm just a comedian that gets to roll people. I am a legit instructor and I was a fighter. And it's like I've been very lucky to be exposed to some very cool fighters.
Yeah.
And like it's weird how much Mike and I kind of clicked. We're like friends basically right away.
Well, yeah, I mean, not to gas you up too much because it'll make you feel awkward, but I always tell people you were you were a better fighter and you're a more experienced trainer than a lot of people in the comedy community know or realize.
Oh, yeah, because they don't really
I think a lot of people think that like you're a guy who recreationally has done combat sports and then maybe has now gotten to the point where you teach it. I don't even know I think a lot of people don't even know you teach it. I think
sure
because most people, I grew up and there would be kids who be like, I fight MMA, but it's just some fucking meathead kid who like hits mitts every once in a while.
Sure.
And I think a lot of people don't know that you were a really good amateur fighter and that you're a really experienced trainer. And
I don't blame them. It's like it's a weird thing to do something for a long time in one world and then transition to a very different world.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, you must not have taken that very seriously. It's like, no, I did. I just like doing a lot of different stuff. I like changing it up and challenging myself in that way. And that's what's fun to me.
Yeah, totally.
That's the thing. It's like, I think comedians see me as like a fighting guy who found comedy, when in reality I was a funny kid who found fighting.
Yeah.
And then went back to being to focusing on funny. But it was so much fun. I really can't express how much fun the whole trip was. Vegas is the hottest place I've ever been to, but I didn't sweat.
No, because it's 30% humidity there.
It's so
insane.
dry. It's crazy. I was just like, I had to blink more than I've ever blinked before in my life.
It's so weird.
Yeah, it was weird.
That's
it was a lot
awesome.
of fun, though.
Did you and Bisping talk any like deep cut MMA stuff? Did you ask him any questions? Did you get into any MMA talk?
We talked more, I think, life stuff and like when we were like, because we had a really cool moment where we were in his house and it was like the night before we left, and because in the house was Bisping, his wife, and his 3 kids, but also Bisping's wife's parents were there.
Yeah.
So it was like a big hang, and we did like a little barbecue, and like we just talked life for a while, and it's like really cool. He did a very nice thing because my brother was messaging me at the same time we were hanging out because he's in South Korea.
Yeah.
He's in the army. And he's like, this is so cool you're hanging out with Bisping. I'm like, oh yeah. Hey Bisping, can you take a video saying hi to my brother?
That's great.
And he like did a little video and had like really good jokes in it. Like off the cuff jokes. I'm like, that was really good. You're really good on camera.
Dude, the only like I mean, I don't know how. Honestly, he and Connor are the only fighters who I've seen that I'm like they could probably hold their own on stage. Like if they tried stand up and work, they have the wit of and the comedic timing.
Yeah,
that a lot of comics, like at least at the level of a lot of comics we know, you see Connor and Bisping when they talk shit. It's like this is witty and like well delivered and clever. It's not just like and that's so evident when you see like I don't know when you would see Bisping in the whole lead up to his fight with Rockhold or like. Conor, when McGregor, the lead up with Chad Mendes, when they're kind of just fighting a guy who doesn't have any of that wit, and doesn't have any of that like natural sense of humor, and they'll be like, it's just so funny because this one guy like, I'm gonna fucking beat this shit out of you, and then it's like the response is a perfectly delivered joke, and it's
like, oh damn it, I didn't know we were doing that.
That must be so annoying if you're someone who's just like all you've done your entire life is beat the shit out of people and get the shit beaten out of you, and you've gotten really good at that, and then in order to like sell your fight, you have to like trade words with this super witty, charismatic person. You must be like, dude, I have to know this
because
like,
it's kind of kidding. Yeah, it has to be a little bit demoralizing before the fight itself. You're like,
it's also probably so frustrating. Like I specifically didn't learn these skills.
Yeah.
I used all this time learning how to make myself a physical specimen.
Yeah.
Not learning how to be
the funny
entertaining.
The funny people are the ones that get out of fighting because of being funny.
Yeah, dude.
So it's like you have both. How dare you?
I don't fight anybody.
Right.
Like that's so. That must be so frustrating.
It's so frustrating. Those guys. And one of the things that stood out from the trip was how, because I've been around UFC fighters, but mostly in the gym, and being around a very high a fighter of very high notoriety in public that has like people that are fans of fighting are there. Like I was blown away of the patience Bisping has for like people asking for pictures at like any moment. Yeah. And like not politely a lot of the times.
No, just like yelling.
There's a moment where we were going to go play roulette. And there's a couple of us, like the Gas Digital people and myself and Bisping and his wife and Ralph. And we go to a table and I realize as we're walking, there's a table on the side chanting GSP. And I'm like, oh, that's such a shitty thing to do. How rude of you. Why? This guy didn't fuck your wife. Why are you being so rude?
I mean, that's pretty funny.
It is funny, but he's right there.
It's definitely rude. God, that's fucking ridiculous.
There was a moment,
I can't believe they did that.
It's crazy. And then
also the balls.
Yeah.
To like
you like walk over there and fuck you up.
Dangerous of a man.
Crazy.
People are idiots. Dude.
People are idiots.
That's funny though.
And then we got to the roulette table and like, people are like, there's a guy, so Bisping and his wife are to my left. I'm standing and there's a guy to my right who's being very nice and very cool. And he like leans over to me. He's like, is that Michael Bisping? And I'm like, yep. He's like, oh, wow. Okay. And he's being very cool. And like, okay, I'm a fan. But then these guys walked over and like kind of like leaned into the roulette table and like were being rude. It's like, he's famous for fighting. Why are you being rude?
Dude, that's like, it's weird. Like so many comedy fans and also MMA fans, like we're in both these worlds. There's not all of them, not at all of them, but there is a distinct percentage of both comedy and MMA fans that have this like monster truck rally vibe to them, where they just come like, "What's up, Bisping?" and not understanding that's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous.
Not understanding, like, dude, what? Like I did Skankfest. It was fucking we both did Skankfest. It was amazing, and it was like, and the fans are insane, but like there's so much fun to perform for.
A lot of them are caricatures.
Totally.
It's very funny.
They're caricatures of comedy fans or caricatures of MMA fans. Like most of them are just like cool as shit and fun, and they're all nice people, but sometimes you'd see like Jim Norton, like it's his first time walking in the building, and he's clearly like a little uneasy because we're all coming in the same entrance, and they would literally be like at his ear, just like, Jimmy, like screaming at Jim Norton's face, like from 2 inches away. And I was like, it's weird. That's almost like the part of the crossover. Everybody talks about the crossover between comedy and MMA. Yeah. Part of it is that we have these like monster truck rally fans.
It's exactly what they are. Such a good way of naming them. Yeah. But the funniest one was, so after the fight, like literally after the fight, we got showered and we met back down in the bar casino area of the Hard Rock. And Bisping is leaning against, like his back leaning against the bar. I'm facing him, and his wife is between us basically. And it's a very genuine moment, and he's saying very nice things to me about just me in general. It was really, really cool. It was very heartfelt. I felt like emotional what he was saying to me. In the middle of it, a guy pushes me and goes, Bisping, I gotta get a picture. Like, not even asking. Just putting his arm around a stranger. To the point where Bisping kind of like, was it like gonna say no? And he's like, oh, just get it over with.
I love that. That's a funnier story, though.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, that's like, that's more a real realistic story than like Bisping takes you aside and like says all these heartfelt things to you. It's like, that's a nice, like, almost like picturesque moment to have. Yeah. That's a very like, whatever, like a blockbuster moment. But the reality is, some guy's always gonna go and be like, yo, Bisping, let me get a picture.
Like, yeah, he didn't ask. He told him, I gotta get a picture.
Yeah. That's like, dude, that's so funny.
It was so funny. And like, I'm like, of course, why would I get a nice genuine moment and a nice compliment from a fighter I look up to quite a bit?
Dude, I mean, before any scandal or anything, Louis C.K. came and did like this bar show I ran in Boston, and we like snuck him down into the bar, blah blah blah, and we like tucked him in this little bar area, and it was like, oh, such a cool thing, Louis here, he's doing the show, blah blah blah. Like, we're all excited, and like he's waiting to go on, like Joe List is on stage, and there's not much room in this little bar, so like he's visible, but you'd think a normal person,
a guy,
let him go up. This woman is standing like from me to you away, I'm talking 2 feet, and there's just a little wooden like door frame with no window or door or anything in between them. See him? She can see him fully, and he can see her, and there's nothing blocking any sound. And there's a person on stage, and the room is packed, and she's going, Louis!
Oh my God.
Louis! Like yelling at him. And my co-host and I had to walk up to her, like, hey, shut the fuck up. She's like, I just want to buy him a beer. We're like, he doesn't want it.
Why do you have to buy him
something? He doesn't. He can afford a beer.
It's such I don't drink anymore, but that idea of like, I want to buy you a drink. It's such an interesting, like, I think the braggadociousness of it, like later on, like, I bought Louis a beer once.
Yeah.
Like, he wasn't like starving. He didn't need you to buy him a beer. You just wanted to insist.
It's like all my friends who smoke weed, they're always like, anybody they like that they think is really cool, like a celebrity they like or a musician or whatever, they're always like, oh, I'd love to like smoke a blunt with, fucking Wiz Khalifa, whoever it is. I'd love to smoke a blunt.
I would love Wiz Khalifa to give me $2,000.
Yeah, right. Also, like, you couldn't have a good time with Wiz Khalifa unless there's a blunt lit.
Sure,
like, don't you think it would be cool to just meet him?
Hang out, watch Harry Potter with him? He'd love that.
No, it is a weird thing to buy him a beer thing.
Yeah, but I get it.
That's awesome, though, that you got to talk MMA with Rogan.
That was cool, hanging out all the way back in the Comedy Store. Comedy Store is way bigger physically than I thought it was.
Oh, that was your first time there?
I've never been there. Yeah.
Wow.
It's huge.
I thought you said your first time doing comedy was Kill Tony.
No.
No. Did you just used to listen to Kill Tony?
I listened to Kill Tony before I started comedy.
Ah, that's what it was.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, I took notes on it. Like, it gave me like a blueprint of how to write a joke.
All right. Okay. So this is your first time at the store.
My first time at the store. I did Kill Tony when they did the Skankfest last year.
Yeah.
At the Creek.
Okay.
But the store was so cool to be there. I bumped into a bunch of friends from New York.
Yeah.
My friend Marlena Rodriguez, who's a really good comic who lives out there now.
Yeah, I did a show with her last time.
You did a show with her? She's great. Funny, I love her. And hung out with Allie and a bunch of friends. My friend Chris, who's not a comic, but is like the reason I moved to New York and all the stuff. Yeah. He lives literally I walked to the Comedy Store from his apartment. That's amazing. Which is so fun. Everything's been great because of that. It's been cool. It's been a cool
there's week. There is a weird... I haven't spent enough time at the cellar to know like what it's like inside and all that stuff, but the store has a magical quality to it. Well, the Comedy Store is like unlike any other comedy venue I've been to.
Of course, and the thing about the store in comparison to the cellar is like we can't go just hang out at the cellar.
No,
I've hung out once at the restaurant upstairs because I was with Sean.
Yeah.
But it's like you can't just, as an open micer, just hang out.
No.
They don't want you there.
Yeah, I went once and Ian Fidance took me. It was fun, but it's still like, honestly, the Olive Tree is like a restaurant.
Yeah.
And it's a nice restaurant. It's cool to hang with everybody, but the store, you're like on this weird like outdoor patio bar on the Sunset Strip, and you're just hanging with a big group of people who then that might include Chris Rock or like, D'Elia or like one of these huge comics.
Yeah.
But everybody's just hanging out, like drinking beers.
It's a cool place. It's a cool home base.
Yeah, and you don't have to... It's spacey enough where you don't have to like feel uncomfortable that you're in that close proximity with these big comedians. Exactly. But you can be close enough to them where it's like, it's cool. Oh, cool. I'm near fucking Dave Chappelle or whoever it is.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, I was talking to Allie and this Connor McNutt, who's a really fun comic out there, and we were... in the front patio area, and I was sitting on like a ledge, and we're just talking, and I look through the glass, and you can see on stage.
Yeah, in the OR.
Yeah. Oh man, there's like a couple people kept changing, and it was Andrew Dice Clay when I looked up. I'm like, that's weird.
Yeah, that's
funny.
wild.
That's a huge deal. But it was so much fun, man. LA is sick. I really want to go back because I didn't try to book any shows when I was there because I was there for a job.
Yeah.
I was there for a very specific reason. So hopefully next time I go, I'll get to do some stand-up there.
That's great, man.
I definitely am going to do what we've talked about in terms of festivals / just instead going on a trip.
Just taking a trip to LA.
Taking a trip to LA.
Yeah, instead of like applying to a million festivals.
Exactly.
Whatever.
Which I don't already do, so whatever. You want to talk UFC?
Yeah, let's do it. We got 228 coming up.
228 is coming
this weekend.
Up this weekend. Right now, we're recording on Thursday.
Yeah.
So, want to go top down or up down?
Let's go from the bottom up. We'll talk about the main card.
So, in terms of the fights that stick out from the early prelims,
we have 2 former podcast guests that are going to be fighting. We have Jimmy Rivera's fighting Dodson.
It's going to be a very good fight.
Yeah, and that's Jimmy's coming off his first loss.
I love seeing...
God knows how long, right? Has he... I think he's lost once professionally.
Right.
And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, he lost once professionally, and it was either his first or second fight. He was on a 20-fight win streak before he lost to Marlon.
I love seeing how fighters come back from losses. Like, if they've been on a long tear, it's really interesting to see their character kind of exposed that way.
I think I'm pretty confident in his ability to bounce back. Just judging by the way he dealt with the loss, he did not seem that rattled. He did not seem like someone who just lost for the first time in 21 fights. He really didn't. He seemed to handle it a lot better and just like with like, you know what happens, you get caught, whatever you lose. Like he handled it in a very grounded way. So I think he's gonna do all right.
I agree. I got my money on my money. I'm betting on Rivera to win that fight.
Yeah.
I bet it's gonna go decision, but that's gonna be a fun fight.
Super fun, man. And then Aljamain Sterling is fighting Cody Stamann.
Cody Stamann, who I haven't really seen that much of. He has a really good record, 17-1.
Crazy.
But Aljamain, he's just such a good fight, like such an well-rounded fighter.
Yeah.
Friend
incredibly
of the pod.
athletic.
So athletic. Great haircut.
Yeah, great.
That should be fun.
And last time we saw him, we were in Atlantic City. That was his last fight. And when he won, he came back with like a almost, I think it was he had a Jamaican flag draped around him and giant like gold link chains on. And he was talking crazy shit.
Talking shit. Very charismatic. Great on camera.
Yeah, it's so much fun to watch, man.
That's the weirdest thing about like fighting now. There's the onus on having to be good on camera is so much more obvious, and like the career opportunities outside of fighting itself are more apparent.
Totally.
So people are like, oh, I gotta learn how to do this as well.
Well, that's the other weird thing about like working press for these events is these guys are all jacked. They're all phenomenal fighters if they're fighting in the UFC at this high of a level. So when you're interviewing these guys, what you really notice is like which of them have a star quality and which don't. Yeah. Like that's a weird thing to notice when you're working press is like more than anything. That first time we worked press at AC, all I noticed was like, God, Kevin Lee is a star, man.
Yeah, exactly.
This guy is booming, charisma, funny, fun to hang out with at 11 a.m. when
Very
he's cutting weight. Yeah, that's a weird thing to notice is like, and Connor and Ronda, I think, made more people think about that and consider it, where you just look at someone, you go, oh, he could be a star. She could be a star. And I think before it was all about fighting, and now that's definitely more of a factor and more of a thing you take into consideration.
Yeah, for
when
sure.
You're watching the fighters.
For sure.
I think it's cool though, man. I mean, it's naturally going to happen with anything.
Yeah.
You want the entertainment. It happens in football and basketball,
Yeah, it's so interesting. Let me see if anything's sticking out. I mean, no one really. Let's see.
Jim Miller's fighting again, man.
Yeah, Jim Miller's fighting again, which is crazy.
This is going to be his 40th fight.
Wow, what a career!
That's crazy.
Man.
I think he said this is going to be his last one, if I'm not mistaken.
All right, I hope. I mean, not that. First of all, I've never heard that nickname for him.
A10.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
I've never heard that.
That's a weird name.
Okay, whatever.
Also, Alex White is the second person with the nickname the Spartan.
In this card.
Also, Stamann is the Spartan, too.
Are you Greek? I don't think so. Man, Jim Miller fighting again. Best of luck to him. He's
crazy.
Given so much to the sport.
Yeah.
Let's see what else sticks out to me. So Rivera, Sterling, Carlos Esparza versus Tatyana Suarez. I like Carlos Esparza. I like her boxing. She's good. I again, haven't seen... There's so many fighters now, man. It's so hard to keep up.
Yeah.
Let's see. So the main card, we've got Abdul Razik Alsan.
And he's fighting Nico Price, who I believe just beat former guest Randy Brown.
Oh, yeah. I know this guy. Okay.
He beat, which was not that long ago. It's kind of interesting he's fighting again. And he also beat him. He scored one of the weirdest knockouts I've ever seen. He hammer fisted him from the bottom. Remember that?
Yeah.
Hammer fisted him from the bottom.
That was so strange.
Yeah.
It's cool that, I've seen, there's been so many fights at this point, and you could still be surprised by something. Like,
it's insane.
Shit,
yeah, like that's like, oh my God, that's never happened before or something. It's crazy.
That's fun. So that should be good. And then we got...
Carolina's fighting. Jessica
this
Andrade.
one I'm interested in. Jessica Andrade versus Carolina Kowalkiewicz. I like both of them as fighters. Carolina does this thing that I really think is badass, where in between rounds, if first round ends and second round's about to start, she does this thing where she leans with her hands crossed behind her back and her ankles crossed, like she's like a little she does like this playful little posture. It's very interesting.
Why?
I don't know. She does it every
crazy.
time. It's a very, very cool and interesting, and it's like a signature thing. But it sticks out to me so much, but it's because it's so non-aggressive.
Yeah,
it's so like shy and playful, but it's like she's a badass. She's such a good fighter. Totally. They're both so fucking good.
That'll be another good one. And Zabit was supposed to fight
Yair Ramirez.
Yair Rodriguez.
Yair Rodriguez.
But Yair pulled out,
which was so annoying because it was such a weird back and forth, and Yair was going to leave the promotion.
And because he wouldn't take
he wouldn't take that fight,
and then he pulled out, which is
from Indra, I believe.
That's so funny that. I mean, it's like Zabit is one of the most clear-cut prodigies that has been in the UFC in a while. You think the guy is... he's this feared, and he's the number 15th ranked featherweight.
Yeah.
And he's that feared.
He's that scary.
Because you just... I mean, his height and his reach and his skill set's insane.
It's insane. He makes people look bad. Like, he's like... It embarrasses people when he beats them.
And you're the one who said that when you were training at Almeida, he was like this. He was like a prodigy back then.
Yeah, when I was like on my way out of fighting, I kept hearing about this guy being a freak and like just like wiping the floor with people and like just out of nowhere. Like it didn't make any sense, which you rarely hear about.
No,
that level of fighting, or at least people are hesitant to say those kind of things because it's like it puts a lot of pressure on the fighter. It puts a lot of expectations on a fighter. But yeah, man, he's really...
if he's in a gym that includes people like Frankie Edgar and someone's talking about how he's wiping the floor with the other guys in the gym, that's such a huge statement.
Huge compliment.
Yeah.
Brandon Davis, he lost to the guy that Zabit just beat recently. What's his name? Let's see. It's always kind of like hard.
Kyle.
Yeah, Kyle. What's his name? Kyle Bochniak,
which if you remembered, he was the guy in, I believe, Zabit's last fight, who is the crazy guy from Boston who had his hands completely down and was taking Zabit's punches to the chin and screaming.
Classic.
Eating punches to the chin and screaming like a classic white trash Boston bar fight.
Oh man, Boston! What a beautiful place. I was in Massachusetts this weekend.
Doing what?
My friend had a birthday party scavenger hunt thing.
Nice.
And we went. My buddy Mike and I went up and spent the night and hung out. And
do you know where in Massachusetts?
No, I know New Hampshire was an hour away.
Yeah, I mean
that's not helpful at all.
You're probably closer to Boston.
Okay, sounds good. And because we went to New Hampshire for a swimming hole kind of a thing.
Cool.
It was so sick.
That's great.
I love getting out of the city.
No, it's so nice.
I think I hate the city. No. This is the fight I'm actually most interested in. Nika Montano versus Valentina Shashank.
Yeah, title fight.
Nika won the inaugural 125 title from the Ultimate Fighter. And this is her first defense. And Valentina is moving down. Valentina's beaten Holly Holm. Like, I think this is gonna be a bad fight. Like, I think she's gonna wipe the floor with her.
With Nico?
Yeah. I don't think Nico's skill set's there yet. She has the potential, and she has like a good team behind her, and she has the drive. But it's like Valentina's been doing this forever,
and she's one of the best fighters.
She's one of the best fighters in 35
female.
I just don't see Nico out striking her like with technique. I don't see her out kind of like gutsing her. Like you can kind of being able to like take more than Valentina can throw. But it's going to be, I hope Valentina gets a title. She deserves it. She's been fighting for so long.
For sure.
She's like just such a fighter. Totally. She's been doing it forever.
Yeah.
So that's going to be fun. My Diego's money is on Valentina. I think she wins it in the third.
I mean, I don't think that's even too bold of a prediction.
Yeah.
I kind of agree with you.
And the main event.
Dude, this is gonna be a war.
I gotta be honest. I've really fallen in love with Darren Till.
He's amazing. I love that.
I've watched his fights, but like listening to him talk a little more and like, you know, not talk like, I don't really give a shit what people say after their fight in the cage. That doesn't really show me a lot about who you are. When you're kind of like hanging out and you're a little calmer and you're being a little more cerebral and being a little more honest, that's what I'm interested in. And the interviews I've seen where he's kind of just hanging out and being calm, like not trying to be Mr. Hollywood, I really like what he says.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's one of the most purely confident fighters I've seen in a long time.
Yeah.
And he's not yelling, he's not overly emotional, he doesn't seem like he's trying to prove anything to anybody. He just seems like he has a real unwavering self-belief. Mm-hmm. And I mean, it's
important in fighting. It's so important.
It's crazy. And that's when, like, Woodley said this is the most he's saying he's going to have to take more precautions fighting against Till, and this is going to be his toughest fight maybe of his entire career. Is what Woodley was saying to us at 227.
227, because you interviewed both of these guys.
I interviewed both these guys back to back. That's the famous one where I was part of the interview where Till said the thing about how he doesn't care about his kids because he's got this fight ahead of him, which I thought was blown way out of proportion.
Yeah, it's hyperbole. You ever heard of it?
Yeah, exactly. It's like
take an English class, you fuck.
Yeah, I know. It's like, you know, relax. Just let he's hyping up the fight.
Everyone's
he cares about his kids.
Yeah, people are looking for stuff.
Yeah, but Till came in talking about how he sensed a little. He didn't sense any fear in Woodley, but he sensed a shred of doubt, and he's good at picking up on body language, and that he's going to try to capitalize on that doubt, but that he didn't think Woodley was afraid. Woodley came in and said, that's bullshit about the doubt, but I do think that Till truly believes he's the best fighter on earth. He truly believes he's going to beat me, and there's no part of him that is faking that or putting up
which is interesting,
fake confident front. And he said he's only felt this one other time, and it was fighting Terrence something in Strikeforce.
Tarek Safardine.
Yeah.
Oh man, I love Tarek Safardine.
Yeah, and he said that was the only. Woodley told us that was the only other time in his career that he's seen someone with this amount of self-belief.
Yeah.
And he was like, I really think Till thinks he's going to be the greatest. And he kept saying that, and it was awesome to be a part of that interview too, because it's like kind of gone down, especially if you look at like the comments or the responses to the interview. People think this is like Woodley's best interview, and it was really cool being able to like ask him questions and be a part of it. He also stared directly into my soul every time I asked him a question.
Jesus.
I was like, do you think... Because Till said first, he was like, I don't think I deserve this title fight. I think Colby does. But he said Colby's a cunt, and he fucked it up, so I get the title fight.
Yeah.
And he was like, but I'll be the first to tell you I don't think I deserve it, per se. And I asked Woodley, I was like, Till said he doesn't think he deserves this title fight. Do you think he deserves it? Blah, blah, blah. And he just like looked me into my soul, and he's like, who deserves it? Mm-hmm. Who deserves it? What does deserve mean? And he's like, look, and I was like, God, this guy's fucking intimidating.
Just a reporter, man. Just answer the question.
Yeah, he was like, so... But he was saying that, he said what was the most compelling part of the interview was that he was saying Till reminds him of himself as a younger fighter.
Right.
He's like, he reminds me so much of myself. He even brought it down to that they both come from dangerous gang-related backgrounds. He was like, I really just think he's been through a lot of shit in life, and that causes him to carry less fear into the cage and more self-belief.
For sure.
And that he's hungry and he's calling out everybody because he truly believes he can beat them, and that's what Woodley did when he was, in his mid-20s.
Yeah, because if the most dangerous thing you've ever been in is a cage fight, that's always going to be the scariest. But it's like, if you've been stabbed by a gang...
Dude, he got stabbed,
cage fight is underneath
Till
that.
got stabbed when he was 17 at
Jesus
a party
Christ,
in
that's
Liverpool.
Prime stabbing age, too.
It's a good age to stab someone or get stabbed.
Yeah, getting stabbed.
But I mean, I'm just Woodley saying that, honestly, like, Woodley's so good, and I almost will go as far to say, from diehard fans, he's a bit underrated because people... I just think Woodley's amazing. He's one of the best fighters in MMA, and I think that whenever I see Woodley paired up against anybody, I'm always kind of like, my first inclination is to be like, Woodley's going to wipe the floor with him because he's just so sure of himself in there, and he's so talented, and he's a freak athlete.
Yeah.
But him giving so much respect and props and kind of like, I don't even like, going in there with a little bit, I don't want to say worry, but really like paying that much mind to Till's ability and his mindset made me, consider the possibility that Till might beat him more than I did before.
Right.
I'm like, hey, God, if Woodley has this much respect for the guy's
yes,
ability.
Exactly.
Then I should too. Yeah.
I'm leaning towards Till. I really think that, because especially after watching the Wonder Boy fights against Tyron and seeing how Darren beat Wonder Boy, it kind of makes the issue that Tyron was having seem like a bigger problem against Till.
Yeah.
Till isn't going to be as afraid of getting caught that Wonder Boy was. And it's like, if you watched Till versus Cerrone, like, I mean, Darren really walked him down.
Mopped the floor with him.
Really walked him down. And, like, I love Donald Cerrone. Like, I saw him in Vegas, and I liked him so much, I didn't say hi to him. Like, I'm like, no, I'm not bothering.
That's how you know you're a big fan, when you're such a fan of someone, you're like, I'm just going to leave them alone.
Yeah, when
watch them from afar.
How people treated, or how often people bothered my Bisping, I'm like, I'm not bothering you at all,
That's so funny. You're like, God, these people are so white trash. And then you see Donald Cerrone, you're like, Cowboy!
Yeah, Cowboy, what's up? Cowboy! BMF French. But yeah, just seeing, like, I watched a Dan Hardy's UFC little show that, like, he just really breaks down what he thinks is going to happen.
Yeah.
And he made a really interesting point about how he's been disappointed with Tyron in terms of, like, not fulfilling his potential because he is more of an athlete than he is a martial artist. And it's like he could do more if he had the right mindset, and right being in air quotes, because he's the champion. No disrespect in the world to him, but he thinks Till leans more towards martial artists, where he wants to see what he's capable of in a fight, where Woodley is more wanting to win the fight.
I get what he's saying, but I also do think that, I mean, the guy is the champion and has been the champion for a while. There's not much more you could do other than winning a second belt.
For sure.
And I also think that the top guy in the division for the longest time has been Wonder Boy. And that, like, that wasn't Woodley. The top contender in the division for a while was Wonder Boy. And that Woodley kind of went about those fights the way you have to. I think that the way Woodley fought Wonder Boy is the way you have to fight someone like Wonder Boy, because of how unpredictable he is, because of how bizarre his style is, that he uses this almost like karate stance and that he throws these weird kicks. And I think Woodley approached that the smart way because he wanted to win the fights and he wanted to retain his belt. But that it looks like he's not living up to his potential because that was his opponent for 2 fights in a row. You know, I just think that as he starts to fight more competition, we might see him really shine more.
Yeah,
it's very hard to shine against Wonder Boy.
For sure. It's so not unorthodox, but so difficult to kind of show your skill set with someone whose skill set's so different.
Yeah.
Or so specific, I guess is a better way of saying it.
You have to be so careful with what you do against Wonder Boy because he's so unpredictable.
Yeah.
And the more careful a fighter is, you could say the more boring it's going to be especially to like a casual MMA fan.
Yeah, I'd say so.
But I don't think that's... I think that we definitely might see Woodley reach his full potential in these next few fights. If he fights, say he beats Till and then he has to fight Covington. I mean, the division is stacked with people still. Man.
I really want to see that fight.
Him and Covington?
Yeah. I mean, the 3 of them. I want to see them all fight each other.
Yeah. I hope that we get to see Till fight both of them because I think that I don't think he's going to have too many more fights at 170.
Well, exactly.
He's massive, dude.
Yeah. And today there was, Issue stated that the weight isn't great. But then I saw a video of him being interviewed for ESPN, Ariel Helwani. He's eating fruit. And he's like, I'm not that worried right now.
Yeah.
So it's like, who's to say? But he definitely, Ariel asked him, like, do you think this is your last fight at 170? He goes, yeah, probably.
Yeah, I mean, he's huge. Those pictures of him in the face-off with Woodley were alarming. It's insane.
I forget how short Woodley is, because I'm the same height as Darren Till. Yeah. And I have more reach than him.
He's 6 feet tall.
He's 6 feet tall, and he has 74. I have 76 and a half.
Yeah.
And it's just like, yeah, man, Woodley, he looks like a goddamn cartoon character.
Yeah.
He's so muscular. It's like, oh yeah, you're still not, in my head, you always make people bigger than you, I guess. And it's like, in my head, it's like, he's 6'2".
No, because that was the thing I noticed talking to him. I was like, he's not that tall. He's just so jacked.
So jacked.
He's got that type of like action figure bulkiness and definition that like Yoel and Rusmar Baharis have. You know, that weird like where you're like, I believe you that you're not on steroids, but it's very hard to believe you.
Yeah.
I do believe you, but I think that they're freaks of nature.
Exactly.
I mean, I think Woodley, Yeah, he's such I do agree with Dan Hardy that he's more of just a pure athlete than a martial artist. And he probably could have gone pretty far in other sports.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I couldn't see him not being a great tight end or a great, probably not basketball, he's not very tall, but like, yeah.
He could have been a running back.
Good running back, any of the football positions that I know very well. He's just a freak athlete. I tend to lean towards fighters that it's like, you're just a fighter.
Yeah.
This is, it's in your heart when you're born, and it was discovered, and you were lucky enough to be born at this era where fighting is a viable option, as a career choice.
That's Till, man.
And that's Till, man. I really like his mindset. I really like how when he's doing like I watched the embeddeds, and it's just like the work is really being put. Like it really is apparent that he like really enjoys the process of getting to this point. Where it's like a lot of times at this point, people are kind of over the process and just want the product goal. Like they just want the fight.
And I mean, it's so exciting to see. The guy's, 25, 26? I think he's younger now than Conor was getting his title fight against Aldo. Like he's so young to be at this level fighting this caliber of guys. I mean, he fought, I mean, think about it. He's mid-20s. He's born in the early 90s or whatever. And he's fought Wonder Boy, he's fought Cowboy Cerrone, and now he's fighting Tyron Woodley.
Yeah.
That's an insane, it's crazy.
Yeah.
And I've already beaten 2 of them.
I didn't realize Tyron's 36.
Yeah,
he's not young.
No, man, he probably doesn't have too many fights left, man.
I'd be surprised if he gets 5 more in.
Yeah. I mean,
even that feels like a lot to me.
No, he's winding down.
Yeah, he's winding down. But again, he's had a great career. It was funny, I was watching the what do they call, open workouts? And he was hitting mitts wearing his Strike Force gloves. I was like, oh, cool, you brought those out. That's fun. I mean, he's been working his boxing with, I think his name is Eric Brown, I think his name is, over at Wild Card in Hollywood. And it's like, that my issue with him working his boxing, I don't know if issue is a strong word, but the range he's going to get, might be getting used to is shorter than he should be.
Yeah.
Because Darren is so long, but I mean, he's a smart guy. He knows he has to get inside and go underneath. And but the scary thing to me for Woodley is the best punch Darren Till has thrown at this point in his career is that uppercut he had against, I can't remember his opponent is, but they kind of like, the guy tried to track Till down to make him go backwards, and Till just planted his rear foot and threw an uppercut, and the guy just crumbled.
Yeah.
Didn't finish the fight somehow. Astronomically, the other guy was able to recover, but I hope Woodley doesn't think he can run him down like he's run down everybody else.
No, and I think Till's also a bit stronger than a lot of Woodley's previous opponents. I mean, he's not only is he big, he's very strong. He's a strong guy.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be a great fight, man. And I think both of them, it's gonna be more exciting than I would say either of their fights with Wonder Boy. Honestly, I think.
Wonder Boy, exactly what we said. It's hard to have a fun fight with
him. Hard to have an exciting fight.
As a observer.
Yeah, and it's the fight. If you're watching a Wonder Boy fight and it's exciting, it's because he's beating the shit out of someone.
Yeah, exactly. It's not very close.
Yeah, it's because he's landing some ridiculous spinning head kick or something. So, and that's awesome to watch. But I think these guys, you're going to see some awesome exchanges. This is going to be one of these fights.
Yeah, those top 3 fights are going to be so fun.
Oh yeah, it's going to be great.
I'm so curious to see how Zabit does against this guy.
I think I would assume he's probably going to mop the floor with him.
I'll rephrase that. I'm so curious what tools he's going to use to beat this guy. Yeah. Or at least, no disrespect.
I would have picked Zabit against Yair too, but that would have been a little more exciting of a fight. Yeah.
I would love that fight because Yair is also
such a good striker.
Such a good striker. A little unorthodox.
Yeah, totally.
Like, we'll throw some different patterns out there and kind of like keep people on their toes. But this is a good fight. I say Darren Till. I see him getting a finish in the 4th. I don't know why, but it's just what I see. Yeah,
that's a bold prediction.
Thank you so much.
I think I'm gonna say Woodley by decision.
All right.
I know that's a conservative pick, but I'm saying Woodley by decision. That's what I think is going on.
Do you want to talk a little bit of Triple G versus Canelo 2?
Absolutely.
We got some time for that. Did you watch the first fight?
Yes, I did.
Okay. What did you think? Who do you think won?
Triple G.
Okay. Same boat.
I do not think it was a draw. I think Triple G won.
There was a moment where, oh man, what's his name? Hold on 1 second. The fight was great.
I think Triple G won, and I also think it was one of his worst performances. on his end.
Well, yeah, because that's what happens when you fight someone really good.
Yeah.
That's why I always hate about like post-fight interviews. Like, I didn't fight to my potential. It's like, yeah, that's what happens when you fight someone who's good.
Yeah, totally.
Your potential is a heavy bag. So of course you don't. Like, that's such a silly statement.
I get what you're saying. Yeah.
Teddy Atlas, after the fight, and he's one of the color commentaries on the fight, was so... I love how infuriated he was about the draw, because it's so obviously not a draw.
Yeah.
And he was screaming about how these judges, Adelaide Bird in specific, I believe, is one of the judge who really got it wrong, how they're cowards and how they don't know what they're doing in terms of what they're taking from these fighters. Because the line that I love the most is like, both these men are leaving with less.
Yeah.
They're not who they were anymore.
Do you think that that the judges should be people that are more ingrained in combat sports?
Yes and no.
Yeah.
So like Ricardo Almeida's been doing some judging lately, and I love that. Oh man, what's his name? He got choked out by Matt Hughes. Frank Trigg has been doing reffing and I believe judging.
Yeah. That's
great. I've been thinking about doing some judging. Like I think it's important for the sport.
That'd be awesome, man.
Thank you.
You'd be a great judge.
Thank you so much. I'm what's the word? Smart. Who's hotter? You win, sir. No. I think it's very important for the sport to be taken seriously in the future, or more seriously, is if we have good judgments. A really easy way to make people not care about a sport is if they don't believe in the judgments that are being handed.
Mm-hmm.
The boxing has always had a problem with the judging. I don't know if those judges. I don't know those judges. I don't know if they are boxing fans, boxers, boxing trainers. But I know that MMA, some of the same judges come over from there. They know shit about MMA. They know about the boxing part.
Exactly.
So I think it's really important.
That's a common complaint you see, is that a lot of the judges don't know how to score leg kicks correctly.
Exactly.
Joanna said that, even though I still think she lost.
Mm-hmm.
I think she lost that first fight and the second. I think she lost both fights, the second fight, regardless of, because she got knocked out in the first. I think she lost that second fight.
I think she won the first. She was playing possum.
Yeah, no. She was faking it. No, I think she lost that second fight, even though she threw those leg kicks. And I do think that, I do think that Cejudo beat DJ and that fight they had at 227, but I still do think that it needs to be considered that these are some of the top fighters of all time, and they're saying these judges don't know how to score leg kicks correctly.
Yeah, they don't know how to score leg kicks correctly. They just don't. They don't understand. Like, my problem a lot of times with judging is that, like, let's say cage control is important.
Yeah.
What if I don't want the center of the cage? What if my game plan is to get pressed, or what if my game plan is to work off of my back? Like, I understand it's not everyone's. It doesn't behoove everyone to fight that way, but that you don't understand what my game plan might be. So if I'm losing at doing what I wanted, that doesn't seem very fair.
Totally.
But those are very specific.
Why would my game plan? Why would I get docked for my game plan? Dock points for my game plan.
Yeah.
Why is it? Why am I at a disadvantage for playing a certain strategy?
Because it's MMA. It's not like, I understand, like, if it was like football or ballet, where it's like, no, this is correct and this is incorrect.
It's much less straightforward than that.
MMA is so kind of in the gray.
Yeah, Rogan said it a bunch of times that he thinks there should be like 10 categories and there should be subcategories in each category that you judge. And I think he's kind of right. I mean, I know that's like makes it way more complicated and that's difficult to institute, but I think it can't just be 10-9, 10-8, you know, 10 whatever. I don't think you can just score rounds the way you scored boxing rounds. There's too many variables. There are just too many variables. There are too many styles. There's just too much hanging in the air for you to score it that straightforward. It's much less straightforward of a sport than boxing is.
I always thought that the better way of judging, instead of round by round, is just the whole fight is one thing.
Yeah.
Because there's been so many fights that, let's say if you and I are fighting, you win the first round because you just had a little more. You win the second round because you have a little more. But I drop you a couple times in the third round, where I get almost a couple submissions.
Yeah.
You still win the fight, even though I got closer to finishing you than you got to finishing me.
I've never even heard someone say that. That's a great point.
Yeah.
That they should just judge it as a whole.
Judge it as a whole thing.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
I guess because people like following it round by round, but you could still say who you think has. Yeah.
You don't see the official.
Yeah, other than
score.
like fuck, you just see Harold Letterman.
Harold Letterman just screaming his old man voice, and I got it, 41-2.
2 rounds to 1. Manny Pacquiao. This guy's the greatest.
He's gonna sell a newspaper while he's getting
extra. I got paid to do.
Smallpox takes another one. And the Yankees win the World. That's a fun voice to yelling. He's got something. But so I agree. I believe Triple G won the first fight handedly.
I think he's gonna win this one.
I actually think Canelo's gonna win this one.
Wow.
I think Triple G's now just a little bit. He's already lost a step, and I've been a Triple G fan for a long time. I already thought he lost a step. This is already a year of training, and they also had a little peak where they thought the fight was going to happen earlier. It didn't happen because of certain things and certain people's blood. Come on, who are you? Are you perfect?
That meat in Mexico that makes you
Mexican meat, baby.
Yeah, 4 times as much. He's caught with 4. Well, whatever the drug was. It was drug. And it was the same drug they say is found in the Mexican meat, and there's a cycling team that got caught with it, and they're like, oh, it's the same thing, it's just like the cycling team, which like theirs was questionable, and they're like, oh yeah, no, Canelo's blood has 14 times the amount that those guys have.
I love chicken sticks, whatever it is.
Like, what are you eating? 14 contaminated steaks a day? Like,
it's crazy. Yeah, I don't know what you're doing, but I just think Canelo is hitting his peak in the next 2 years, and Triple G hit his peak 3 years ago.
Triple G's pretty old.
He's older.
Yeah.
I'm a big Triple G fan. I just think Canelo's going to edge it out. He's going to learn a little more from the last fight. Sorry, but I would not be surprised if
I think Triple G's going to win by knockout. Yeah, I think Triple G's going to win by knockout, like 9th round.
Wow, you heard it here first, or maybe you didn't.
9th round knockout, Triple G.
I would love to see a finish. I hate when it's just like another fight.
I think there's a much higher, and I think if it's gonna be a finish, it's a much more likely that Triple G finishes Canelo than vice versa.
Right. I agree to that. I think if Canelo wins, it will be decision. I hope Triple G works the body a little more in this fight than he did in the last fight. His jab was great in the first fight. He used it really well, but he definitely didn't go to the body as much as he usually does.
I think his footwork was worse in the fight with Canelo than it has been in any of his previous fights. I think he's got great footwork. He's got a great job of closing off lanes.
Yeah.
And that's why
he does a great job of shifting, where he like walks basically with his punches, which I love. Totally. I love doing that.
That's like it's a guy who I worked landscaping with, who's like, he used to be a really good boxer when he was younger, and now he trains some people. But he's the one who pointed it out, and we used to watch kind of Triple G replays and stuff like that. Well, we were supposed to be planting flowers, but he's the one who pointed out the footwork.
Yeah.
He was like Triple G's footwork is underrated.
Yeah.
We all talk about his power and his body shots, but this guy's footwork is like phenomenal.
It's phenomenal.
And he showed me exactly. Look, he closed off a lane there. Look, he closed off a lane there, and like you said, he's walking with the punches.
Mm-hmm.
It was.
And he does a great job pawing with the footwork, where it just like kind of he knows that this doesn't have to be his jab doesn't have to land to be successful.
Yeah,
it can be successful to encourage his behavior.
He's also got an interesting. His knockout power is interesting because the thing that something like. I mean, it's MMA, but like McGregor's always known for that like fast twitch muscle. Mm-hmm. He's extremely explosive. That left hand so quick, lands it perfectly, knocks him out. Matthew Macklin was talking about Triple G's power, and he's like, it's really not this like bizarrely quick explosive power. He's like, it's more just like heavy hands in every single shot. He's kind of just chopping you down.
I agree,
and that's why his body shots are so important, because it's not like he's just like snapping a hook and catching the edge of your jaw and knocking you out like that. It's more just like he is just breaking you. Each punch is so heavy, and each punch is breaking you until finally your head can't take it anymore. Your body can't take it.
It's a great point. Yeah, I never thought about how he's not very like speed punchy. It's just like weight.
Yeah, I remember that was early in Triple G's career, and Matthew Macklin was like, he's in there. He was like, he's the best fighter I've fought by far, and they were like, better than Sergio, and he's like, I mean, miles better than Sergio.
Wow.
And yeah, I mean, I'm on board with the Triple G hype. I think he's gonna.
Oh yeah,
I think he's gonna win.
Like I said, I'm a big fan of both these guys. I mean, I can't not root for a ginger Hispanic. Hello, everyone. But Triple G is fucking so sick.
Yeah.
So best of luck to those two. That fight's gonna happen.
You got to think there's probably gonna be a third one too.
There probably is, which is unfortunate. Not unfortunate, but it's like I don't know. There's so many.
I don't know, man.
Is that true?
Cool.
Is there so many fighters I want them to see fight each other?
I do not think it's unfortunate, man. I gotta say, I think it's pretty fortunate.
Pretty fortunate, actually. No, that's gonna be fun. I was rewatching the Canelo Austin Trout fight, and there's a moment where Austin Trout throws, I think, like either a rear hook or a cross, and Canelo basically does like a 180 with his head to miss it, and like it just swings all the way past. It's so sick. It's like one of the coolest little highlights. That fight's September 15th in T-Mobile Arena.
Dude, 2 back-to-back huge weekends for fighting.
Huge weekend. In Paradise, Nevada. That's weird. Not Las Vegas.
It must...
Clark, Nevada, United States, adjacent to the city. It's adjacent. Oh, it's Las Vegas adjacent, everyone, so don't get too worried.
I wonder if it's just someone, like some massive corporation bought that or something like that. I wonder why it's called that.
The T-Mobile Arena in Paradise, Nevada. September 15th.
Different T-Mobile Arena? That's the same one that we always say is in Vegas, right?
Yeah, that's where the
Vegas is
the Knights
a weird
play.
place, man.
Dude, I was just there. It's fucking weird as shit. I hate everyone there. If you're in Vegas, you're a fucking weirdo. The sun has ruined your personality. And you're all so like, just sad, and you want money from me, but I don't have any. I hate it. Best thing about Vegas, Ronald's Donuts. If you're in Vegas, go get some donuts from Ronald's Donuts. Old Chinese man makes vegan donuts for some reason, and they're the best I've ever had. And they're so cheap, it's crazy. A dozen donuts for $10.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, that's nuts. It's free donuts. I took a car there, and I gave the driver a
it's
donut.
The price of Munchkins.
Yeah, right?
That's crazy.
Man, that was fun. Thank you so much. You good?
Yeah, dude. I think we're good to go.
I think we nailed it.
Do you got dates? You want to plug anything?
Don't have any dates. I don't have any dates, but I'm on a show now called After Party. It's on Refinery 29. I'm like a panelist every once in a while. Do me a favor, just watch it, specifically the episodes I'm on. Maybe a comment, oh, this Diego guy is great, and you should give him more money or whatever. That'd be the best thing for me. The fourth Thursday of every month, my stand-up comedy show, Cool World at A Bar, not a bar, in Greenpoint, Brooklyn. Come check that out. We have a lot of great comics this month who I have not booked yet, but come on by. You?
Depending on when this episode comes out, I'm going to be in DC this weekend, the 7th and the 8th, featuring for Tim Dillon at the Big Hunt.
I love that room.
Have you done it?
No. I've seen pictures, though. It looks fun.
It's supposed to be very good. I'll let you know how it is. Yeah, watch.
Find a way to mention me on stage.
Go on to the Big Hunt after the shows. Watch reruns of After Party. And then... September 27th, Thursday, I'll be headlining the Laugh Shack in Portland, Maine.
Oh, headlining, my man.
The following weekend, I'll be in Boston all weekend at the Hideout, and then October 16th, I will be headlining the Saint in Asbury Park. It's a dream come true. Beautiful joke.
You're doing it, bud.
Hey,
look at you, man. I'm so proud of you, my friend, who's a really good comedian. At Luke Tuma.
Yeah, at Luke.Tuma on Instagram. I use Instagram more than Twitter, and some fucking Australian piece of shit has at Luke Tuma's the handle. He doesn't use it at all.
Of course he doesn't. It's always that.
No, yeah. Has never posted anything, but he keeps it. So, at Luke.Tuma on Instagram, at Luke Tuma on Twitter, but follow me on Instagram. I use it a lot
more. At this Diego Lopez on both Instagram and Twitter. Send me money? Yeah, that's what it is. Send me money. Thank you so much again, everyone at Gas Digital, for letting us record here today.
Yeah, thank you so much, guys.
They're doing us a favor because Lewis is a fighter now. And follow Dan Lamort. Hit up the Fight Fest Twitter as well. You did all the things. We love you so much. God bless you, and we'll give you a kiss on the mouth when we see you.
See ya.
Bye.